Imagine being terrified that a single thought in your head might mean eternal punishment. Imagine looking at your own hand and wondering if a birthmark could actually send you to hell. For many people, that's not just imagination, that's their reality. Hey family, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about something that's often hidden but deeply painful for many people out there. Religious OCD, also known as scrupulosity. If you've ever asked yourself the question, did I offend God just by thinking that? Or what if I've committed an unforgivable sin without realizing it? That doesn't mean that you're a bad person. That simply means that OCD may be present. And we're going to talk about that today. Before we delve into that, I'm going to share a story with you. When I was growing up, there was a boy I knew who watched the old 70s Christian film called A Thief in the Night. It was kind of like the Left Behind before Left Behind was a thing. In the movie, people had to take the mark of the beast in order to survive. This boy had a birthmark on his hand, on his right hand, I believe. And as he grew older, he became convinced that it was going to turn into 666. He would stare at it constantly, terrified that he was already marked and doomed for hell. At the time, none of us around him knew the language for OCD or scrupulosity. We thought he was just being, different. But now as I realize it, he was really suffering from a real mental health disorder. And it breaks my heart to think that there are many of you out there in the same boat, suffering from these pervasive thoughts that are just hijacking your brain. So I want to empower you today in this video. So if you're new to my channel, Live For You Counseling is more than just a channel. It's a growing community where we talk openly about mental health, self-development, and spirituality. And these conversations aren't one-sided. I want to hear your voice too. So if there's something here that resonates with you, please like this video and share it, subscribe, and most importantly, share your thoughts in the comments below. Healing often begins when we stop suffering in silence and start speaking openly. So we're going to do that today. What is scrupulosity? So it again is a subtype of OCD, like the other ones I've mentioned, where OCD latches onto religion, morality, ethics, and we have these intrusive thoughts or obsessions around those things, again, asking ourselves questions. Did I sin? Did I do something bad? And then engaging in compulsions, those rituals. It might look like repeating prayers, confessing over and over again, altogether avoiding worshiping. But remember that faith is meant to bring peace, whereas scrupulosity, the opposite of that, brings us guilt and shame, and it must be addressed. So what are some common signs of scrupulosity? Again, it's constant fear, fear of going to hell, fear that we are just on the brink of just moral decay. It's an unbearable feeling, and from the outside looking in, it might look like deep devotion, but at its core, it's disguised. It may be disguised as faith, but it's not. It's contrary to our faith. So scrupulosity is very common, and about 5% of people who struggle with OCD struggle with that particular subtype, and it extends beyond just Christianity. It's any religion you can think of, and even people that do not have a organized religion or sense of belief in God. So let me give you a few examples to put into context for you. So an atheist, for example, might replay conversations endlessly, wondering, did I lie today? Did I hurt someone without realizing it? Am I even a good person? Their scrupulosity shows up as moral OCD, where the obsessions is about ethics and being a good person. For people that practice Islam, they may repeat wudu, the ritual of washing before prayer, over and over again, and restart their prayers multiple times, feeling like it wasn't perfect or pure enough. That cycle leaves them exhausted and disconnected from the peace that their prayers were meant to bring in the first place. And a Christian might struggle with intrusive thoughts, that are blasphemous in nature, like cursing God, doing something disrespectful in the context of Christ, committing blasphemy, you name it, like in the case of the boy that I referenced. To all of these people, they're experiencing the ultimate betrayal. Many people that are religious hold dear to their heart God, their sense of spirituality. So religious OCD comes into conflict with that. So what can we actually do about it? The first and foremost thing I'm going to say is exposure and response prevention therapy. This form of therapy helps us to be gradually exposed to our fears so that we can resist those compulsions which perpetuate the obsessive loop that we find ourselves in. Second tool would be cognitive behavior therapy. This can help us challenge those cognitive distortions that we experience, by looking at what the facts are. Oftentimes with OCD, there's a lot of magical thinking where, a person might think that their thoughts are going to manifest into reality. And then another therapy that I think can be helpful is narrative therapy. We can reauthor our story and kind of externalize OCD. So this might look like calling OCD the bully, and instead of saying I'm a bad person because I think these kind of thoughts, or I'm a bad Christian or Muslim or person because I think these thoughts, saying that OCD creates negative thoughts in my head that do not reflect who I am. Because remember, the thoughts that OCD brings are ego dystonic, so they go against who we really are. So they are not us. And then the things that we value, so the thing that OCD is latching onto, will be what's ego-syntonic, what aligns with our values. So be assured that just because these thoughts are emerging, it does not mean that you're not true in your spiritual practices, that you love your God, or whatever it is you identify in a lesser sense. It's just showing you that, again, that these things are important to you, and that's why we see these ego dystonic thoughts and we experience that distress. But there are things that we can do about it, and I want to encourage anyone experiencing OCD to not suffer in silence. Find community. I've said this in my previous video. There are different OCD support groups. Sometimes when you hear other people's stories, it can empower you to take charge of your own and to not feel alone and disconnected. I believe that in building a community, we are fostering healing for us all. So in connecting with different groups that you feel safe in, you may be able to derive support and a sense of healing and restoration that you alone could not. If nothing else, if you are experiencing this, do not delay going to therapy. There are countless therapists that are competent in this area. Find one that specializes in treating OCD in your area so that you can get the support that you need. So in closing, I hope that this video resonated with you. If it did, please like and subscribe to this channel and share this video with anyone that you believe could benefit from it. Thank you all for watching today.